real conversations with leaders about personal branding and career growth. Today, I am so excited to be joined by Janice Burt, international speaker, author, and just a fantastic, amazing woman that I had the pleasure to meet not that long ago on a stage in Cairo. Janice, it's so awesome to have you here.
Hello, Lisa.
It's so amazing to have you here and to see you again. Janice is an author, she's a speaker, she does amazing work, she's had her own podcast for a while. And so I thought who better to bring on Courage to be Seen, where we're talking about personal branding, than Janice. So I'm so glad you're here.
I am so glad to be here, Lisa. And I just want to say one of the highlights of my trip to Egypt, because I had never been, was after the conference, and when we spoke and everything, we're like, hey, I think it was your idea. Hey, let's go, out to the Nile. I mean, how many people can say, let's go grab a bite on the Nile? And it was just so fun. So thank you for having me.
Oh no, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. So I would love to just dive in if you're good with that. So obviously, as I mentioned, you're quite visible, and I think you invest smartly in your personal brand. But I'm curious if there was ever a time, maybe earlier on, when you were a little bit, maybe you're a little bit hesitant to become visible, and if so, kind of what was driving that for you?
I would not say a little bit hesitant. I was terrified to put up videos, to put up a post on social media, always second guessing if I did put something up, rewriting it, like, what are people gonna think? That was a huge part of my past, is I am a total recovering people pleaser.
Okay.
And when you're trying to please everybody and their mother, which, by the way, fun fact, you can't do, I learned the hard way, it's kind of devastating on your own being and soul and, who you are as a person. So it didn't go from that to me like prolifically posting stuff. It was definitely like this gradual, uncomfortable journey. But I will say, I do all of these things, like walking through fear stuff, with a lot of accountability and other people. So there was one challenge, I can't remember, it might have been for like a Tony Robbins online event or something, but I decided I am gonna go live on Facebook for 30 days straight.
Wow.
It was uncomfortable. Some of the stuff was probably cringy, but I am just so glad that I did that, because slowly that fear, debilitating fear, has gone way down.
In my opinion, you started big, which is amazing because you pushed yourself. I think too, there's lots of ways you can kind of start small. Like I talk to people about, maybe you see a comment or a post from someone that you really like, or that maybe you have a differing opinion, and so you share it and you add your own comment, or and so I feel like there's lots of different ways just to start and engage in becoming even somewhat more visible. And then, as you said, like your confidence kind of builds over time, and then you become less worried about it. I think the other thing is I've been doing this for a little while. I work with leaders to do this, but I also hesitate, and I do it actually every now and again still. Like I'll draft something and I'm about to post it, and then I get in my head and I think, like, what are people going to think? Or if I don't see like the likes tick up or whatever, you can really second guess yourself. But I've also found that a lot of times, and I don't know if this is the same for you, but even some things that maybe don't drive a lot of engagement, it's the one that I get a new client from, or I get a new speaking up from. So I really have to get out of my own head. And I also have to treat it like learning. Like, I don't know if you ever approach it that way, but I kind of have to think about like looking at the analytics and, well, what is this teaching me?
Totally. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because for me, with all of these things now, I've really learned kind of to detach myself from the outcome. And as long as I am doing what's in my own power, which is putting the post out there, and showing up in the way that I truly want to show up in the world, that's what I have to go, that's what matters.
Which I think is really important, because I think sometimes people can kind of just decide, well, I'm going to be more visible. Maybe they've lost a job or they're trying to get a promotion, and they just kind of start posting without intention and without really remembering who they are. And they try to please like everybody, like you said, but you can't. You want to please the right people. So I really like that too. And then I really do think it is about, staying true to yourself. And I do think it's an ongoing thing though, as we just talked about. I'm curious, so when you've been intentional about, either what you're posting or your podcast, or any of your speaking ops, what kind of impact have you seen by putting yourself out there more, by being more intentional?
That's what's really cool and I love what you said about you just never know what it's going to be. You don't. So that's another really good reason to keep showing up, is you don't know what the thing is that's going to get somebody's attention. But I've had some really amazing messages from acquaintances that I don't know very well that have sent me, like direct messages like, oh my God, thank you so much for that post. Thank you. It has allowed me to realize the fear that's holding me back in my own life, those kind of things. One really cool thing that happened, I self-published a book a couple years ago called Kicking the People-Pleasing Habit.
Cool.
And, kind of just put it out on Amazon into the world. And I get this, I think it was on Instagram, a message from a total stranger, no idea who this person is. And just this long message of, oh my goodness, your book made me feel seen. It gave me hope.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, it was beautiful. And I mean, I really feel like if our work does that for one person, it is so worth it. It's so worth changing somebody's heart and life in a certain way by putting out our own stories and what we've learned in life.
I love that. And in another forum, you and I have talked a little bit about how my approach with personal branding and visibility has kind of changed over the years, where it's less about self-promotion and it's more about serving others and sharing what you've learned. Maybe it's something you've learned the hard way. And so I just love that story, right? Because it's something that it's service to others. And yes, while it's also helping you achieve whatever goals you want to achieve, I think the beauty of it is that you really feel good because you're helping others. When you've gotten, more intentional, visible, maybe even early when you started, or maybe even recently, is there a mistake or something that you've done that you've learned from that you could share with others?
Oh boy, Lisa, is there a mistake? Yes, there have been many mistakes, but I will say that's what I love that I'm learning also is I try to look at all this now as like me when I'm 5 years old learning how to ride a bike or something. Like, yes, we're gonna fall down. We're gonna scratch our knee. We're gonna, it's gonna be a doozy sometimes. But do you stop trying to ride a bike? Not normally. Like most kids, you fall, you get back up. You fall, you get back up. Like that is the learning curve. And so with speaking for me, I am still in that, and I don't know if you noticed in Egypt, but, oh yeah, I think you were there. I get very shaky.
You told us that, but I didn't see it until you actually said something. And even then, I think we all notice our own thing. But anyways, carry on, tell the story.
Yes, and I feel it so much in my body. I'll watch myself back on video and go, oh yeah, you can't really see it all that much. But like even at that event, there was the Cairo sign, and I had to kind of stand behind it and hold on to it. And that allows me to settle. Like I need something kind of stable, and then my body will settle. But I'm starting to realize that actually, I believe is a memory stored in my body from when I was 16 years old and competed in a speaking competition in high school. and I forgot my lines in the middle of this contest with all these eyeballs staring at me, and I was just blank. Yeah. So yeah, there's some things that have happened that maybe any sane person would be like, I'm never standing on a stage again for that to have that possibility happen to me again. But that's how much I so believe that what's on the other side of the prison of fear is worth it.
I think that's the thing, like the mistake that we think is, monumental and that we, can't move beyond easily, actually didn't really have that much of an impact in terms of the opportunities that were coming your way. You had to overcome it, and it's amazing that you did. But I just feel like, I think we can get too hung up on, well, what if I get this wrong? And think that it's going to be so disastrous that we won't recover, right? And it's just not the case. And I think for people that do want to, speak, you can start small doing that too. Like you can, for lots of people, and the way that I started is I started doing like a panel internal to my organization when I was in corporate. And I did like a town hall, fireside chat. I had the comfort of like, there was 3 or 4 panelists, you could ask one question. You're kind of surrounded by people that know you. So it's comfort, right? So there's kind of ways that you can also build up to like the big, the big speaking op, if that's, where eventually you want to go, but you're nervous. But no, I just love your story that it obviously didn't impede you from being successful. And I heard you speak in Cairo and you're amazing. So clearly it didn't hold you back, which is fantastic. We're almost at time, but I have a question for you. What is like one piece of advice, if there was someone that was hesitant about, using and building and amplifying their personal brand and becoming more visible, what's maybe one piece of advice that you would give them?
Well, I would just encourage anybody out there and really like sit in stillness for a little bit and contemplate and really reflect on your life and just go, when I'm laying on my deathbed and I look back on my life, am I really gonna lay there and be like, I should have, I could have, I would have, I should have, I could have, I would have. There's so many people that say that this kind of stuff is their regret. Why did I care so much about what other people think about me?
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. It's been amazing catching up again. And I can't wait to see when you're on the stage again, because I know it'll be soon. And thank you for sharing all your thoughts. It's been fantastic.
Thank you, Lisa.